Hello and welcome to episode 24 of TB3 Sports Talk. And boy, do we have something to tell you about. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 1-0 in the post-Tom Brady playoff era. You would have never saw that coming, but we did at the beginning of the show. And by we, I mean Colby and Will. I did not. I was kind of playing for the draft this year, but I might have gotten proved wrong. And today we're here to talk about it. We have Colby and we have our guest for today. Will is out preparing for his marriage. We have Luke here too.
Luke's back.
Luke's back in the building.
Second episode for Luke. You guys did hear that right. Whoa. Will is getting married, so if you're listening to this on YouTube, drop a congrats Will comment underneath the video. Shout out Will, shout out the Bucs. Me and Will, we corresponded at the game. We were in Raymond James Monday night for the most electric Bucs atmosphere I've ever witnessed in my life. It was amazing. Eagles fans were almost nowhere to be seen. It was completely different than Week 3 in Raymond James, and it was awesome. Great game, and like Joel said, we maybe saw playoffs coming for the Bucs, but playoff win, I don't think any of us saw that coming.
No.
So, man, this is a great step for the Bucs organization, and I can't wait to talk about it. Just so you guys know, this is episode 24. We are going to talk we're going to talk mostly Bucs, a little bit Bolts. We will have timestamps for all your different things you want to listen about. Bucs defense, Bucs offense, Bucs Lions preview, all that good stuff. Even if you want to get to the Lightning straight away, we don't know what you want, but you guys can click around, use the timestamps. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you for the support recently, and also subscribe and like and comment. Like we said, comment congrats Will under the video. That's what we want to see. And
Find
also
his Venmo, send him some money.
Yeah, and comment, Will, what's your Venmo? I want to send you $5 for your marriage or something like that. And then also, if you're listening on Spotify, follow if you haven't, hit the 5 stars. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this episode. So I'm going to start it off. Will is gone, so I'm going to recap this Bucs game the best I can. I know I can't do it like Will, but I will try my hardest.
Just give us a good Gene Deckerhoff interpretation.
I can't do it like Will. Will's Gene Deckerhoff is unmatched. But yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosted the Philadelphia Eagles Monday Night Football on Super Wild Card Weekend, 8:15 kickoff time. And boy, was it electric in Raymond James Stadium. I was there early. I saw the pregame. Scott Van Pelt, Ryan Clark, RG3, Rex Ryan, they were all in the building for the huge game. Baker and the boys were ready early. Antoine Winfield had shades on like an hour and a half before the game. I knew it was over for the
Smelling
Eagles.
salts from Baker Mayfield.
Absolutely
wired coming out of the tunnel.
Baker was ripping the smelling salts before the game. I agree. And man, what a great job by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers organization with this game. First off, they made the tickets affordable. Shout out the Bucs. I got lower bowl seats for $170. There was tickets for less than $100. They made it affordable for the Tampa Bay fan, and the Tampa Bay fans showed up. Also, they had flags in the stadium. And I don't know if you got what it looked like on TV, but in the stadium, it was awesome. Every fan had a flag, and they were raising and waving.
Really cool.
It was so cool in the stadium on TV. I'm glad to hear it. So shout out the Bucs for the flags, for the ticket prices. It was a great atmosphere. And to be transparent, I did not think a Bucs game could get that type of atmosphere, but it got there.
It was Ric Flair was there.
Flair was there. Gerald McCoy was there on the boat. You hear about that?
Yeah,
Gerald McCoy. I mean, come on. Just everything
Warren
about
Sapp
this game.
was there.
Yeah, everything about this game was amazing, including
Aaron Judge was there.
Aaron
Judge was there.
Yeah.
He was wearing creamsicle.
Yeah.
They put it on TV,
yeah.
and I was like, "Are you serious?"
I forget
right now?
about that guy. I forget that he's a Bucs fan.
Hey, but I mean, line him up at tight end, I'll take him.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, we're like, hey, you can sign for the Rays for $1 million, but we'll also let you play on the Bucs. Will you take that deal, Aaron Judge? Will he take that deal? Find out next time on TB3. But yes, even the gameplay was fantastic as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers got the ball to start off the game, and they did what their new tradition is, and they went down and they kicked a field goal. 12 plays, 65 yards, potentially a missed PI call in the end zone on Cade Otton that cost the Bucs 6 points.
I would say more of a drop.
Also a drop.
Personally.
That was the theme of the night. But yes, the Bucs started this game off with a field goal, and then The Eagles got the ball in the Bucs defense, kept it rolling as they forced a Philadelphia punt. Great defense by Tweez on third down to knock the ball away. And then the Bucs got the ball back, and it was an electric factory as David Moore gets the ball on 3rd and 7 and takes it 44 yards on a crossing pattern all the way to the crib, juking out 4 or 5 Philadelphia Eagle defenders. And who would have thought a month ago David Moore is in the wild card game giving you guys an absolutely electric play, one that's going to go down in Bucs history? Because, boy, that was a great catch, great run, great play call, and the fans were loving it.
He just makes big plays because the two biggest. He said the two probably big. One of the 2 of the biggest plays all year.
He is an explosive playmaker, and the Bucs kept their momentum up by forcing another 3 and out for the Philadelphia Eagles, and then the Bucs got the ball back, went 10 plays, 40 yards, and Mr. Chase McLaughlin knocked through a 54-yard field goal to make the score 13-0. However, the Philadelphia Eagles are a talented football team. They would respond. They would go 7 plays, 46 yards or 45 yards, and kick a field goal to cut the lead to 13-3. But the Bucs cannot be stopped on offense as they go 13 plays, 45 yards, and get yet again another field goal. Some drops on these last 2 drives did punctuate getting 3 points instead of 6, which did seem like it might come back to bite the Bucs in the butt. But at this point, we are settling for a 16-3 lead. But then the Philadelphia Eagles get the big play that they so needed as Jalen Hurts passes it deep to Devontae Smith for 55 yards, putting the Eagles into scoring position, and they would cap that drive off with a touchdown to Dallas Goedert. And it's going to be 16-10. Oh no, it's not 16-10. The Bucs jumped.
This was the game
right
here.
The Bucs have jumped offsides. The Philadelphia Eagles are getting the ball at the 1-yard line to try to get an extra point with the tush push. Oh man, what a mistake from the Bucs. The tush push never failed. Oh my goodness! It is stopped. KJ Britt takes down Jalen Hurts. Vita Vea is a wall, a man amongst boys, and the
second time we've stopped that tush push this year.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers own the tush push. Wow. Just shock from everyone involved. The tush push has only been stopped 3 times total now, and that was, man, what a play. The Bucs were able to grab back momentum, and both teams would exchange punts to end the half, and we would go into halftime with a score of 16-9. Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers led the game. And then the defenses started to take over as the Eagles got the ball to start the half, and they punted 3 and out. The Bucs got the ball to start the half. They punted. Eagles punt. Bucs punt. But in the midst of all these punts, Jake Camarda consistently was able to pin the Eagles inside their 10. The Bucs are winning the field position game, and that would pay off as on 3rd and 6, Kalijah Kancey whips his defender, causes Jalen Hurts to go out of the pocket, and then Big Anthony Nelson, wraps Jalen Hurts up. It's a safety. It's 18-9 Bucs. Oh my goodness. And then the Bucs would just keep it rolling as after the ensuing punt after the safety, Trey Palmer catches a pass from Baker Mayfield to a nice first down conversion. Oh, wait. He made one man miss. He made another man miss. And he went 56 yards to the house for a touchdown. The Bucs are winning this game 25-9. And that might have just been the knockout punch. As the Philadelphia Eagles try to put a drive together, going 9 plays, 56 yards. And again, the Bucs jump off sides on a field goal attempt that went in. So the Eagles decide to go for it on 4th and 5. And they are stopped as Jalen Hurts tries to connect to Devontae Smith. Carlton Davis was in lockdown coverage. Incomplete. The Bucs take over. And then the Bucs are just trying to rub it in the Eagles' face as they drive 12 plays, 83 yards. And this drive was punctuated with a Baker Mayfield bomb to Chris Godwin on 3rd down, 23 yards. The Bucs are up 32-9. And this drive took 6 minutes off the clock, which I really appreciated from the Bucs. I love that. And that was about it, man. The teams would exchange punts. The Bucs would, grab more time, take more time off the clock, and that was about it. As this final score of this game to move your Tampa Bay Buccaneers onto the divisional round was 32-9. They won this game at home.
This was amazing. Like, this was the most feel-good game I'd say we've had since the Super Bowl. Like, it was just sit back and watch the art that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It really was. Actually, that game, like, after thinking about it just right now, it really was a lot like the Super Bowl game. Like, very similar, and like it
was like the defense was shining, and then the offense did just enough. And I mean, you just kind of look back and realize, like, man, the Bucs are good when they want to be good.
Well, I mean, I would even say I think the offense was better in this game than it was in the Super Bowl. I mean, the offense was rolling early. The defense was amazing. And like you guys said, this was just satisfying game and win from the start. Just with this group of guys, with the Baker Mayfield feel-good story, with Todd Bowles' seat being hot all season long, with all these guys being in huge contract years, with these rookies developing. This is just such a feel-good story for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it's one of the most satisfying wins, I think, in Bucs history for me. Honestly, I really do. Yeah, so, I mean, is there any first initial thoughts on this game before we get into the nitty-gritty, guys?
I just think our defense they're kind of playoff performers, I think they elevate their game in the playoffs, and like we've seen that before in the Super Bowl run. And I mean, 2021 they played pretty solid defense, but I think that's it.
The Eagles were coming into this game limping, and we did not give them a second to catch their breath. Like, we were like, you're down, and you're down quick. Because that was one of my things I was looking for as we were coming to this game. How are the Bucs going to begin this game? Was it going to start out with our classic punt to start the game, or what? And we came in and we were ready to win.
I agree. I'm still looking for that first opening drive touchdown for the Bucs. They have not done it all season. Maybe they're saving it for Detroit, but
maybe they're saving it for the Super Bowl.
But these 3-and-outs, it used to be a 3-and-out on the opening drive, and now the Bucs have improved to getting field goals on their opening drive.
That's progress.
That's progress, baby. That's progress. But yeah, Luke mentioned it. I think we should get into it. I think we should talk defense first, because these guys, they were outstanding. Overall, in the night, the Tampa Bay Bucs only allowed 9 points. They finished the game with 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 5 pass breakups, 0 turnovers for us, but that went both ways. And the Eagles finished this game with only 276 total yards and only, let me see this, I know it's low, 42 rushing yards. The Eagles ran for 42 rushing yards. They ran for 201 in Week 3 against the Bucs. We said it last week in the show. A bunch of people said it. The Bucs had to stop the Eagles' rushing attack, and they did it. I mean, just phenomenal job by the guys up front.
It worked out great because with A.J. Brown being out for the Eagles, we knew that most of their game was going to be coming from the ground, and we were able to stuff it up. And it shows on the scoreboard all around. Not being able to put up big points like the Eagles tend to do. You saw it, and it was encouraging. So they were down, and we reminded them of it throughout the game.
For me, looking at this right now, I think it's interesting that I don't know what the Eagles are doing, but looking here, I mean, they only attempted to carry the ball 15 times, which I feel like is really low, especially for a team that killed us the first time around running. So I don't know what their game plan was coming into this game and I feel like Jalen Hurts was banged up. People said he's banged up. He's got his middle fingers broken,
he showed it on
or
the
whatever
TV a
it
couple
is.
times.
And they only gave him 15 carries. So I mean, part of that is Eagles' bad coaching. I don't know. That's why I guess fans were so upset with Nick Sirianni. So
it was definitely like a rock and a hard place for him. Like one of your star receivers is down, your quarterback isn't 100%, and their game plan coming into this did not succeed, and they didn't adjust either. Like, at no point was it like, oh, the Eagles are kind of coming back. Like, they got a touchdown there. There was a good play on it, but outside of that, it was just field goals and punts and a safety. And a safety. Don't forget the cherry on top.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, 15 rushing attempts. It really, it's interesting. But I do think you have to look at you got to give a lot of credit to this Bucs defense. And I mean, they only were getting 2.8 yards per rush, so it's hard as an offensive coordinator or a head coach to keep going back to that run game when it's getting stuffed over and over again. And that's what the Bucs did.
They were down big early too.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Maybe
having to play behind from pretty much the get-go did not help them for calling running game.
Yeah.
Keeping a balanced offense.
Maybe the Eagles coming into this game thought that since they killed us earlier in the season off the rushing, that we would come in with a game plan on heavy rush defense. So maybe they were trying to switch it up, throw some weird passes. And I mean, Devontae Smith, that's like the only highlight I would say from their whole team was Devontae Smith kind of killed us.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But Devontae Smith had a couple big passes, one that led to the field goal and one that led to the touchdown. And that was, like we said, man, the Bucs really struggle on defense when they allow these big passing plays, and when they're able to limit those, they're a really good defense. I mean, you look at the front seven, the way the secondary has played the last month of the season. It's a formidable defense, and if they can make a team have to drive up and down the field, they're just not going to do it on this Bucs defense. It's not going to happen.
When I was watching the game, I feel like Hurts was only looking for Smith. Because I remember every single time he'd roll out, they would pan on him, and his eyes would always be looking there. And Devontae Smith was trying his hardest to get open, which, I mean, that's hard for the Bucs defense. They got to run around. And I remember the first time we played the Eagles, we could not get any pressure on Jalen Hurts. And that's what happened to us. We got killed by A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith because we couldn't get any pressure, and you'd have all this time in the pocket, and then Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown would run around, get open, and then they have a 30-yard game. So, I mean, this time we got pressure on the quarterback, which killed him, and that's also a part of how we beat the Eagles.
Yeah, and that reminds me of that Chiefs Super Bowl game, too, because with the Chiefs Super Bowl, there was quite a few of their star players being out, and without A.J. Brown, it continued to hurt the Eagles, and it kind of was just like a landslide win for the Bucs. So you take out a star on the other side, and it's like, man, like this is almost easy. This is like first grade homework, basically.
Yeah, it's a great game plan because we knew A.J. Brown wasn't going to play. I think Friday they confirmed that, maybe Saturday. I think it was a couple days before the game. So the coaching staff knew that the Eagles weren't going to have A.J. Brown, and they prepared accordingly. They obviously Devontae Smith still had good yardage, and he was the second option, but no one else really got involved. I mean, you're looking at the Eagles. Their second leading receiver was DeAndre Swift, their running back, with only 32 yards receiving. So the Bucs were able to kind of cut off their passing attack after Devontae Smith, and a lot of those yards were on like 2 plays. So this was just, I mean, great defense by the Bucs. I think you mentioned it. The front 4 pressure and the blitzes and the pressure on the quarterback was outstanding. I mean, they finished the day with 3 sacks and 6 quarterback hits. I'm sure the pressures were crazy. There was a bunch of times where Jalen Hurts was under duress, having to throw the ball away or throw an inaccurate pass.
I mean, look at the safety.
Yeah, look at the safety. That was great. That was caused by a guy we'll get into in a second who was having an amazing game, a huge part of this. But just as a whole, that front 7 was terrific. I mean, you look at it, defensive line, the interior dominated, the edges did their jobs, and then the linebackers were fantastic. KJ Britt came back, and he came back with a vengeance. Lavonte David was rock solid. He was good in coverage to kind of pretty much take away Dallas Goedert, who, without A.J. Brown, you would think Dallas Goedert would be kind of having a big day. But
fighting on the sideline.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert was frustrated, and with the combination of maybe Winfield, D. Delaney, Lavonte David, all these people guarding Dallas Goedert, he only ended the day with 4 receptions and 21 yards, and he did get that touchdown, but that was a goal line touchdown, so it's not that big of a deal. But that's a great job by the Bucs defense to take away their second biggest weapon on the day. So, yeah, I think, Joel, if we're getting into some specific players, was there anyone that stood out to you specifically in this game?
I think it was Vita Vea. Like, when we stopped the tush push, like, you just kind of saw him. Like, it was like, wow. Like, Vita Vea can do that. Like, that was Vita Vea right there. So, like, him just being one of the great centerpieces of that play, it changed the game. Like, it was like, oh crap. Like, the Eagles are about to get their tush push. They're about to get electrocuted. They're about to do it Philly style. And then to stop that, to say no, none of that in this house. That was huge for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was doing it not just on the tush push. He was doing that throughout the game. He was holding leverage on the inside. The Eagles have a great interior offensive line, obviously led by Jason Kelsey, and they weren't getting any push. I mean, a lot of the reason why these pressures were so effective is the pressure was coming up right in the middle. So when a pressure is coming right at a quarterback's face, he's not able to step into his throw, and his throws are subsequently going to become more inaccurate. So getting pressure in the interior was amazing. And there was a quote from Jason Kelsey. I don't know if it was this week or if it was in the past, but basically Jason Kelsey was saying when he matches up against interior defenders, he has to change his approach because some guys are big and they're huge and you have to become stronger for them, and then some guys are more undersized and they're quick and you have to change your approach for that. And he said what makes Vita Vea like one of the best in the league is he's big and he's also quick. And that's been well documented, but Vita Vea is an absolute freak. He's huge. He's 350 pounds, massive, but he is able to slip, and he's nimble, and he's able to slip around defenders and get around people and make tackles and run people down in the screen game. And they even dropped Vita Vea in coverage in this game. I saw a video of Vita Vea dropping under, I think it was either a running back or tight end, and dropping under and taking away a throw in coverage. So Vita Vea was everywhere. He finished this game with, I'm going to pull up his stats for you guys.
I got it.
I feel like he's a name I didn't hear very much this year. I probably wasn't listening, but like you really heard him in this game. He made his presence known.
Yeah. He had 2 total tackles, 1 solo tackle, and he had a half of a sack.
And you look at that and you see
it doesn't sound
yes,
that
it doesn't
great,
sound, but his impact on the game.
He's a defensive lineman, and he's literally they had 15 carries all game.
Yeah.
So that proves that he was literally either the Eagles realized this and they realized he was playing great, and they're scared to run the ball up the middle, and they just didn't do anything. So Vita Vea was just stopping the middle, basically.
And you'll hear this a lot. He does the job basically of 2 players. Like that's his size.
Yeah, and he's such an unsung hero. Even with the love he gets, like what Jason Kelsey said and what we're saying, he's still underrated and underappreciated. Like he's such a big part of this Bucs defense. And I know there's a few games where he's banged up and he wasn't playing up to his caliber, but he looks healthy and he looks awesome. And he's a playoff performer. I mean, he was a huge part of that Super Bowl run.
He came back just in time.
Yeah, he was. Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah, I did forget about that. He's such a huge performer on our defense. But I got to talk about his running mate, the rookie, the legend, the man, Calijah Kancey. This dude was a freak on Monday night. I mean, just jumping off the screen or jumping off the field if you're at the game like me with the plays he was making. He ended this game with 4 tackles and half a sack, a tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. But his effect on the game was even bigger than the stats that he had, which was a great stat line, by the way. He was the one. He beat his man. He flushed Jalen Hurts out of the pocket, caused Anthony Nelson, sent him right to Anthony Nelson, and Anthony Nelson finished the job. Vita Vea was plugging up the middle, and Calijah Kancey was getting off the blocks and making the tackles. That was what was happening. They're such a good duo for each other. And I mean, this was a breakout game for Calijah Kancey. I think he's getting some real national coverage and love after this game because, like I said, you couldn't watch this game and not see what Calijah Kancey was doing and be like, wow, that kid's a dog, which he is. He's a dog. Crazy. Just a dog.
Saw a lot of the younger guys had themselves a game. Like we came ready for this game.
Yeah, Yaya Diaby. He was in there early. He only had 1 tackle because he got hurt early in the game. But I just want to say, guys, I was there. We were there early, so we were kind of down at the field level, messing around, seeing the guys warm up. Yaya Diaby is a massive human being. He is so huge. It's crazy. Like, if you guys just you sometimes you don't realize how big these guys are that are playing professional football, but he even looks bigger than a lot of the other people playing in the NFL. He's a massive guy, and I'm sure if he's healthy for this game, he's going to have a huge impact in Detroit. But, I mean, Luke, who's a player that stuck out to you on this defensive side?
After looking at the stats, I was really shocked by Jamel Dean's defensive stuff. But from when I was watching the game, who really stuck out to me, who, of course, he sticks out every game, was Levante David. He literally, you keep saying for, what's it called? You keep saying,
Safety?
For the safety, you get hyped for, who is it?
Kalijah Kancey.
Kalijah Kancey, sorry. Kalijah Kancey, but I think the main reason why we got the safety is because the play before, Camarda pins him down about the 10-yard line, and Levante David comes off the edge and gets a tackle for loss, probably five-yard tackle for loss, and then that pins him up, which then leads to the safety. And he had another tackle for loss earlier in the game. He had 5 solo tackles. I thought he was flying all around and playing great. And he kind of stepped up because Devin White did not have a great game. So Levante David playing the veteran role like he always does. Great player. He's always been like that. So
When has Devin White ever had a good game?
Jacksonville.
That was a great game.
All right, he's got 1 star for the year.
Yeah, I agree. Levante David is rock solid. That was a huge tackle on that play before the safety because I think it was Swift was trying, and Swift's a very elusive running back. He was trying to reverse field, and if he had gotten past Levante David, that could have been a huge play for the Eagles. But Levante David, sure-handed tackler, made the tackle, huge tackle for loss. He had 2 of them on the night, just all over the place. Like I said, he was covering Dallas Goedert a lot, and he held him to 4 receptions for 21 yards. So overall, he just did what Levante David does, which is just be an exceptional linebacker. He does it every week. He's defying the odds with just how good he is at his age and at the position he's playing. So I think it's a great pick. You mentioned him. We should talk about it. The secondary was fantastic, and it started with Jamel Dean. He was the leading tackler. He had 10 tackles on the night. He had a tackle for loss and a pass breakup. And he just was so rock solid. He made so many tackles on 3rd down where players were catching the ball in front of the sticks, and he would just sure-handed make the tackle. There's so many plays where he was right where he needed to be. Pass was caught at the line of scrimmage. Jamel Dean's there making the tackle. Jalen Hurts is looking to throw it back somewhere, looking to throw somewhere downfield. Jamel Dean's there in coverage. Great coverage, great tackling. Jamel Dean might have been the best player on the Bucs defense. I know we're talking about all these people, but Jamel Dean was fantastic.
I think a big thing that we did is anytime the Eagles try to throw the ball in like a little screen pass, a little flat route, is we tackled them every time. We stopped them. We didn't let them get out in space. We didn't let them do any of that. And that the leader of that who stopped it all was Jamel Dean. I remember seeing every single time we throw it to Swift on the side, and it's like he tries to make a move, and then he gets ankle tackled by Jamel Dean or something like that. And that's how we got all of our stops on 3rd down, especially.
Yeah, and with some of the tackles, it was like even the tackles that got us flagged, it was like I didn't really see anything wrong there. Like it's like that was a great tackle, so you might be flagging us, but it still was good.
Yeah, I agree. Tackling team-wide was fantastic. I know these are NFL; they should be the best tacklers in the world, and the Bucs they did a great job, especially when you compare them to what the Eagles were doing tackling-wise, because you look at the Eagles secondary trying to tackle and the Bucs secondary trying to tackle, completely different.
That's quite the conversation there.
Yes, that is quite the difference and conversation. Also, like Luke mentioned, or let's stay on the secondary, Carlton Davis. Absolutely another fantastic game. He had 4 tackles, 2 pass breakups, great coverage all night. Great coverage all night. We either mentioned this before the show or we mentioned this earlier, but Carlton Davis seems to play his best football in the biggest games. So
he's a playoff performer.
He really is. And it seems like a lot of these Bucs defenders do that, especially the secondary, because if you remember 2020, that's when the secondary got so hot. I mean, obviously Sean Murphy-Bunting was a part of that, but it was Jamel Dean, it was Carlton Davis, it was Winfield. These guys were getting hot and playing their best football of the season, because that was the question mark in 2020 was the secondary, and it's at points of this season it's been the question mark for the Bucs as well. But they're playing their best football right now, and it just seems like they always do that for the playoffs, which is it's awesome. That's why we pay them, because it's like sometimes in week 4, you're like, what is Carlton Davis doing now? But now you're in the wild card round, you're like, this guy is an elite corner. Which when he's right, he is an elite corner.
I think that's why when people look at him and they're like, oh my, yeah, Carlton Davis, that's a Pro Bowl corner, and then you see him all regular season, and you're like, man, no, he's really not. Like, you look at him and you're like, oh, he's not. But then I think this is where people see him, and it's like they see him play in the playoffs, and he plays so well that like kind of proves how good he is.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Devin White. It's like Devin White. So people see him in the playoffs, and they're like, oh, that's Devin White right there. So he didn't get it in this game, but going forward, if he does, he'll get that, like, oh man, he needs a big contract. Give him a contract.
Yeah, and on the flip side of it, that's why a lot of us Bucs fans get so frustrated with these guys during the regular season. It's because we've seen it in the postseason, in the big games of the regular season. We've seen what these guys can do when they're right and they're playing to the apex of their abilities. So that's why when the Bucs lose a horrible lead to the Houston Texans, we're like, what is Carlton Davis doing? Because we've seen Carlton Davis, like, in this game multiple times. So that's why we get so frustrated. That's why some of us, like, kind of sometimes rip these people because we know they have better. But they didn't take any of this criticism. I mean, the secondary was highly maligned in this season for the Bucs, and they've, like almost every single person on the Bucs, they don't care about the criticism. They haven't reined it in. They haven't shut it down. They just kept playing, kept chucking through, and they're playing their best football when it matters the most. And I think we should maybe flip over to the coaching side, because we got to say this, that we got to give a lot of credit to Todd Bowles. He had a great game plan.
Saying great blitzing.
I mean, great timing of the blitz, disguises, when to blitz, when to not blitz, when to bluff, all that stuff. And, I mean, this was the most evident on 3rd and 4th down, where the Eagles went 0 for 9. Yes, you heard that right. 0 for 9 on 3rd down and 0 for 2 on 4th down. The Eagles did not get one conversion the entire night.
That's just bananas.
And it's crazy. There was a point in this season, especially this was evident against the team we're going to play next week, where the Bucs had the worst 3rd down defense in the NFL. It was last. It was last in the NFL. And now they just went into a playoff game against a team that was the NFC champs last year and held them to 0 conversions. That's crazy. That is a crazy turnaround.
Even in this season, like when we were in that losing patch there, it felt like every 3rd down, it's like you may as well score, guy. You just put the first down on the screen. Like, don't waste your time. Go get a Coke or something. Put the first down on and come back in 45 seconds.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that, like Will has said this a lot, is what type of 3rd downs is the team getting? And I think, you're a huge part of your 3rd down defense is what you do on 1st and 2nd down. Because defending 3rd and 2, which the Bucs did do, they stopped a couple 3rd and 2s, is much harder than defending 3rd and 7. So the Bucs a lot of times had Eagles in these longer third downs, and that's all they need, man. With the blitzes that Todd Bowles has, with the different things he can do with this defense, with how athletic and experienced it is, that's all they need. That's really all they need.
That was the awesome thing too. Like at certain points in the game, I was like, all right, the Eagles are probably gonna have to start like making this 4 down kind of stuff, and to only go for it on 4th 2 times and to not even get any of them, like the Bucs were stopping him at like 3rd and 7, and they weren't getting to like 3rd and 2. It was 4th and 7. And take your pick, Eagles.
And the only time they tush-pushed was on the 2-point conversion. They didn't have 3rd down and 1 or 4th down and 1, which was a huge key of the game. As silly as it sounds, man, the tush-push is a huge part of the Eagles' game plan. So to not let them do it other than on a 2-point conversion is huge. It's an absolute win.
If you get them in 3rd and 1, then they're just going to run it, and it's like 90% guaranteed you're going to get the first down. But we were holding them to pass like 3rd and 1, 3rd and inches, and anything inches, so they couldn't run it.
Yeah, and throughout this season, you heard people in the sports community say like the only way to beat the Eagles is if you can keep them to like a 3rd and 10, and like that was how you did it. But the question was, how do you do it? It's like it's impossible. And in this game, we were able to do it, and a big credit of that goes to the coaching.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, seriously, all this credit we're giving to these defensive players, we need to give just as much credit to it. Just as much credit to the coaching staff. I mean, great scheme, playing zone when you need to, playing man when you need to, substituting people in Ryan Neal saw time. D. Delaney, Zion McCollum saw time even with the other two corners healthy. Christian Eisen, obviously, and then subbing in the running backs like Great Gaines got a sack.
Devin White didn't see the field very much.
Well, Devin White was in, and he made an impact, but also KJ Britt was in the proper amount of time, which is good because KJ Britt has shown that he deserves plenty of snaps in this season. I said running back for some reason. I meant defensive line. Defensive line swapping and keeping them fresh was great. We saw Will Golston made a big tackle. Great Gaines, like I said, had a sack. JTS was in there. He had to play a little bit more than he normally does because Yaya Diaby was hurt for some of the game. But Yaya Diaby played. Shaq Barrett played. So just the way they made the subs, the scheme they had, this was just a flawless defensive game plan. And this is 2 weeks in a row. We're coming off a shutout in Carolina and a 9-point, almost near-perfect game against the Eagles. So, man, watch out for this defense. Watch out for this defense because they're hot. They're playing Super Bowl caliber defense. So
it impresses me that a defense can heat up this way. But like, if this is what we see going into the next week and the week after that, if we get the win, like this could get exciting.
Yeah, I mean, just man.
Like I feel like you don't hear about like defenses getting hot, but like this defense had a hot hand in this game.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll say it one more time: 42 yards rushing, 2.8 yards per attempt. Just fantastic. The last time the Bucs played this team, same place, same team, but different team, but same team. You guys know what I mean. Same place, same season. The Eagles ran for 200 yards and the Bucs ran for 40. That was almost flipped. Just incredible improvements from the team on the player side and the coaching scheme wise. I mean, just to see the comparison of the game last time where the Bucs were dominated. They lost 25-11. They couldn't get anything going to this game where they win 32-9. It's just crazy. Also, how did you guys feel about that retribution as in the last Eagles game, the Bucs got caught for a safety and then they turn right back and they get the Eagles for a safety.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's just another like awesome chapter of this game.
It was like,
this game was storybook.
It was, and it was like a reverse of the last game, honestly, like a complete reverse. And honestly, the guy who pointed that out was the people sitting in front of us were awesome at this game. There was like two brothers, and they knew their stuff. They were cool as frick, man. They were awesome. They were cheering. They were high fiving. They were awesome, and they were like, yeah, that's what you get for getting us a safety last time. And I was like, oh, you're right. They did get a safety. I forgot that was a horrible play, and it was horrible.
We should get them on the show,
dude. They knew their stuff. I'd feel comfortable with them on their show. They were awesome. So shout out those guys if they ever hear this. We were behind you in section 120 or whatever it was. 220. I don't know. But is there anything else you guys want to say about the defense?
No, I think that's it.
They took Rondé Barber, his heart, his passion, the little underdog, and they played it on the field.
The last thing I'll say is Antoine Winfield wasn't his best game.
Solid.
But he played solid. But
solid.
He can only get better.
Yeah.
So the Lions better be careful.
Yeah, he's due for one.
Buddy over there is chirping.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
And
we'll get to that. But, yeah, we got to move on. We're going to move on to the offensive side of the football where the Bucs were almost as good, man. The Bucs were able to put up 32 points, 30 without the safety, but still great offensive showing. And this game started and ended with Baker Big Nuts Mayfield as he went 22 for 36 with 337 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a 119.8 passer rating.
I mean, he did not look like he was hurt. Like we were going into this game, I'm like, whichever quarterback gets hit first, that's the team that's probably going to lose. And he played. He stepped into every throw he had. He looked phenomenal.
He was ripping it. I mean, there were some throws that he made. That was, excuse me. There were some throws that he made that I'm like, why are you throwing that? Wow. What a throw. What a catch.
He got some tight pockets.
Mm-hmm.
There was one throw, the first catch that David Moore got on that drive. He literally, there was a defender right in front of him, and he just threw it just barely over his outstretched arms right into David Moore's hands, and I was like, bro, that was awesome. Baker was ripping that thing. I mean, he, like Joel said, he looked fully healthy. He really did. I don't know if it was because he was just, adrenaline was so high up, or he just felt better.
What were you guys saying he was doing at the beginning
The
of the
smelling
game?
salts.
Maybe it was the smelling salts.
I mean,
I think
those
he
had
needs
to have
use
helped.
it again. He
Those
needs
had
to
to
use
have
it again. I mean, also, he had two rushing attempts, and I think they were both first downs. Or
Yeah.
I think they both, like the one he rushed for
Yeah,
nine
they
yards.
were.
And
Yeah,
it
they
was
were both
big first
effective
down.
runs. He did end up getting sacked 3 times.
No, 4.
Okay, he got sacked 4 times, but the Eagles' defensive line is
Okay.
good. They were definitely the best, like the most woke up team or part of their team. They were playing really well, and he did a really good job getting out of the pocket and throwing the ball away. He saved a lot of possessions by being smart with the football, throwing the ball away, getting the yards he could with the run game, checking it down, whatever. He did a great job doing that in this game. Sometimes his pocket presence is not great, but in this game it was really good. So, I mean, there's nothing I can complain about Baker's game.
I think that what you just talked about, the offensive line, I think that's the one place probably that we need to improve, like that needs to improve the next game, because they gave up 4 sacks, and this doesn't really involve the offensive line, but a part of it is they also had 6 tackle for losses, which is like kind of involved with the offensive line. But so I think that's the one area where blocking we need to improve there for the next game, because they got Aiden Hutchinson and he might kill us. So
Yeah. I agree, but I still think the offensive line played pretty darn good, man. I think the protection, for the most part, other than a few third down plays, was really good for Baker. He had a lot of time. There was a couple of those sacks were coverage sacks for sure, and he had a lot of time. The rushing game ran for 119
The
yards.
rushing game looked awesome.
Really good.
Big
Holes.
I was like,
big
Rachaad
holes.
White, you can do that?
Yeah.
Rachaad White just did that?
Big holes for Rachaad White.
Well, I mean, I think that's probably one of Rachaad
Oh,
White's
it
just
was.
pure rushing games, because when he it reminded me of the last Eagles game you were just talking about. It's a reverse of the thing. I remember every single time Swift or Gainwell, they kept fighting for the yards. They kept pushing through, getting the extra yards, and that's what Rachaad White was doing this game. Which he significantly got better at that this whole year.
Yeah.
He's slowly been doing that more, pushing for more yards. I'm pretty sure he trucked somebody in this game.
Yeah.
I think he laid somebody out.
He was waiting for the play to develop. This is one of the first times
Yeah.
I've really seen him do that, where it was like, oh, he's stopping. Oh, he found a hole.
Well,
he found another hole.
That's that's his thing, but the difference is he was doing that, and there was just no holes, and the offensive line was collapsing.
So the offensive line
is
really
doing a
showed in that
really
area.
good job. I mean, Aaron Stinney was mauling people. Tristan Wirfs was mauling people. Cody Mount's mauling people. The offensive line definitely could improve on some pass protection situations. There was 1 or 2 bad snaps that were scary, I will say. But other than that, man, really good job against a really good defensive line. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would say Detroit's defensive line's better than Philly's.
Yeah,
They're about the same level.
Yeah, it's all par.
Yeah.
Same level, so it's like, I mean,
Just play like that again.
just gotta play solid
Just
again.
replicate that.
And the thing about Rachaad White is he had a great rushing game, but I mean, he didn't get that much involved in the receiving game, which he's normally crazy about. But I mean, it's good to see him rush well. And I mean, he probably just wasn't open, or they didn't really run anything for him.
They definitely were. They definitely kept a lot of mind to Rachaad White in the passing game. They were trying to take him out of the pass game. The Eagles were.
Yeah.
Which is a good.
Well, I feel like we didn't give him a screen pass. Like, I feel like we gave him a screen pass to like Godwin and like
Edmonds. We gave 1 or 2 to Edmonds. I remember.
Yeah. I mean, Edmonds played pretty good too.
Edmonds has been ever since Edmonds came back. He's been a huge.
I'm gonna talk about my unsung hero of the game. I think Devin Thompkins played a great game.
He did.
Even though his stats, he didn't have the greatest stats. First of all, punt, kick returns. He had solid, nothing bad, no drops.
Two returns for 12 yards. 12 yards average. 24 yards total. 12-yard average on return, which is good. Good job.
And then he had the one rushing. He had a rushing attempt.
Mm-hmm.
The one rushing attempt he had got a first down. And when I tell you, he literally was squeaking through every hole, fighting for the first down. And I just love to see the effort. I just whenever I see him play, he puts it all out on the field. Every snap he gets in, he tries his hardest. He's trying. Like, whatever he did, like he always does that.
Yeah, and you said that he didn't really have good stats, and that's something you can see throughout this game. A lot of players didn't have good stats, but in a team effort, we were able to embarrass a team like the Eagles. And that's this team. It's a team of scrappy underdogs, some of the outcasts of the league, coming together, an outcast coach, an outcast quarterback. And right now they're putting all the pieces together. And this game put a smile on the face of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I agree. Total team effort. Total team effort from 1 to 52 or however many people are on a football roster. Great job. I do want to mention we were talking about Rachaad White getting tough yards. There was a play early on. I think it was first or second drive of the game where it was like 3rd and 3. Rachaad White gets the ball behind the line of scrimmage. There's 2 defenders there. He breaks both the tackles, spins off, and lunges and gets the first down. That was just like the perfect example of what the Bucs did, man. They could have gotten tackled behind the line and punted it or kicked it or whatever was going to happen, but they broke the tackles, they lunged, and they got the first down just off pure effort and want to. This was just fantastic. Fantastic grit and just tenacity by the Bucs. They were tenacious this Monday night. Tenacious. And yeah, we mentioned some of these small contributors, but man, this was a game full of unsung heroes. And first and foremost, the unsung hero we got to talk about is David Moore, man. He finished this game off with 2 receptions, 66 yards, a huge 54-yard touchdown, and just a huge play to get the Bucs started. That's what got the juice in the building really, really fired up. It was a great run, great catch. It was crazy. And just to get such a big play from like a utility guy. That's what you can compare David Moore to. I know we talked about there was a game a couple of weeks ago where David Moore got a catch, he got a tackle, and he got an onside kick recovery. David Moore is like the utility player of the Bucs. And he had an explosive play, and that's one of the plays I think we're going to remember in Tampa Bay history. We're going to remember that David Moore touchdown catch.
The Joey Wendell of the Rays.
Honestly,
of the Bucs.
I appreciate that. I think so.
Fair. I would say more like a little G-Man Choi because he's had 2 explosive plays, and every once in a while G-Man Choi will get a little hot and have a 3 home run week or something like that.
Every once in a while you're at the Dunedin Blue Jays Stadium watching the Rays versus Blue Jays, and Joey Wendell hits a grand slam.
That's true.
And you thought we wouldn't bring the Rays into this episode. We did.
We always have to. And then David Moore was fantastic, and also Trey Palmer with the 56-yard touchdown reception, another unsung hero. He woke up pissed off, and he showed it. 5:30 in the morning, he's already angry, and at 9:30 in the night, he's running for touchdowns. Huge play, breaking tackles. I thought he had more than 1 catch. He only had 2 targets on the game.
He had a rushing attempt for 9 yards.
Oh,
so
yes,
I think
rushing attempt. It was like a flip,
It was a jet
right?
sweep.
Yeah, it was a flip.
All right. And I remember, actually I just remember this now, that jet sweep, he literally was behind the line of scrimmage, and he dodged a couple Eagles guys and really, got 9 yards on it.
Was that the one where that guy jumped out and he ran around him? Yeah, I remember that play. That was a good play. Yeah. So Trey Palmer, great game. One amazing play and another really beneficial play for the offense. Unsung hero. And then,
that area, obviously, you didn't see much of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, but you know how they can play.
Yeah.
So that area can definitely improve for Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin had that 20-yard touchdown catch. Actually, great job from him because Baker Mayfield getting pressured. He just decided, I'm going to lob that thing up for him.
F it Godwin down there somewhere is what Baker Mayfield said.
You know what, Godwin? He learned from his mistake at Buffalo where he could have got the Hail Mary. He turned around.
He found the ball.
Turned around, found it, got it. Touchdown for
him. This was a redemption game in so many ways.
Yeah. Chris Godwin did finish the game with 4 receptions, 45 yards, and that touchdown. But like Luke said, he just wasn't as much of a focus as for his counterpart, Mike Evans. There's a lot of room to improve.
It was a bad game for him.
It was. He finished this game with three receptions, 48 yards, but it could have been a lot more, because there was 2 huge drops from Mike Evans in this game on plays that could have been, huge chunk plays. Both of them could have been 30, 40-yard plays, and he did not capitalize on them. But you got to feel like Mike's going to make those plays next week. You got to feel like it.
Well, I think that, first of all, I think he did, even though he dropped those passes, he still had 4 yards, but I think he did a good job taking Slay out of the game. He took him out of the game, who is their best corner by far. And, I mean, it showed that he played good defense on Mike Evans, but he made it possible they were so worried about him, Slay was so worried about him, and it made it possible for David Moore, Trey Palmer to make those big plays and get those explosive touchdowns.
That's a great thing about having multiple weapons is you take their weapon on defense out of the game.
And that's a great thing about having a quarterback that'll spread the wealth. And we've seen Baker Mayfield, he'll spread it. Whoever's open, he's throwing it to you. He really is. And a guy that was open all night long, who was actually the leading receiver for the Bucs, was Cade Otton.
He looked awesome.
He looked like I thought I saw Gronk out
That's
there.
what I was about to say.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
Gronk, is that you?
He did drop 2 passes. Again, four drops that we can remember from the Bucs that were frustrating. And if the Eagles would have come back and made this a closer game, they would have loomed large for the Bucs. But the Bucs dominated, so it doesn't really matter. And hopefully they won't bring those drops to Detroit. But Cade Otton had 8 receptions, 89 yards. That's it. But I mean, he was the leading receiver, and he was awesome. He was awesome.
He kind of reminds me of Gronk and Cameron Brate combined.
Yeah,
He gives me that vibe. Hey, what do you know about Payne Durham, big 18-yard catch, though?
Dude, Payne Durham, anytime he's on the field, he's making a highlight.
Anytime
he gets
I think
the ball
it was
thrown.
third down. I think that was a third down, or it was like, I don't know what it was.
Dude, that
but-
was the play where Baker Mayfield, ripped it, and it was like a back shoulder, on the wheel route to Payne Durham. I think that's what it was.
I don't know.
But, yeah, that was Payne Durham. All he does is come in and catch, 1 pass a game, but it's like a 20-yard pass. So, hey, shout out him, the rookie, a rookie contributor.
He's got one of the best names in sports.
Payne. He's bringing the pain.
Payne Durham.
It is a
Payne
nice name.
Durham. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of, wrap this up, just some miscellaneous notes. Like we said, Rachaad White, 18 carries, 72 yards. The Bucs ran for 119 yards, 4.1 yards per carry. The Bucs ended this game 6 for 14 on third down. That is about 45%, just under 50. So that's solid on third down. They had some huge conversions. They had some drops that kind of held them back on third down and some sacks. Like we said, I think at least 2 or 3 of the sacks on Baker Mayfield were on third down, which is he's trying to make sure he makes a play. So I get it. But 6 for 14 is decent. 1 for 2 on fourth down. The one was they were just it was the end of the game. And they were whatever, don't care.
I was surprised by that play. I was like, we're not just gonna let him punt. I was like, that makes sense. Keep the ball in our hands and get this game over.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, and then they did have a really nice fourth down conversion where they ran that play where they faked the inside handoff and they pitched it to Rachaad White. It was on 4th and 1 and they got the conversion. That was
Talk about a
that was
play
a
where
nice play call.
talk about where Rachaad White fought for an extra yard too. I remember the Eagles had a chance to tackle him behind the line and he just got out there and got in front of it. Also, you can continue.
There you go.
Oh, I was gonna say, Chase McLaughlin, bro.
Oh yeah,
money.
Dude,
McLaughlin.
54-yarder, dude.
he made 57 last week.
I didn't,
Dude.
Dang, bro.
He's hitting these
Oh,
long
okay.
kicks.
I'm not gonna lie. During the game, I was so scared because they brought it up on the board, and it was like he's made his last 12 field goals. They brought it up on whatever.
You thought they were
what it was on, and I was like, oh no, he's gonna miss.
I mean, if
I
you
was
thought that was
he's gonna
good,
miss.
Everybody on ESPN picked the Bucs to win. I was like, oh crap, we're losing this game.
Dang, I did not know that either.
Every single panelist on the.
That's crazy.
Hey, they knew.
It's because we chanted RG3's
they know
name
the script.
before the game.
Yeah.
They know the script.
That's right. That's a good script.
That's a good script. Hey, I'll take that script all day long.
I mean, yeah, Baker Mayfield redemption run.
Yeah,
let's take
they
it.
like the script.
But yeah, the Bucs finished with 23 first downs to the Eagles 13. Like we said, man, complete domination. 426 total yards for the Bucs to the Eagles 276. Just awesome. Just awesome game from the Bucs offense. Obviously, I was just gonna talk about the penalties because there was a lot of missed calls on the Eagles. Is all I'm gonna say. They missed 2 face masks in the same area, same play on Devin Tompkins, and that should have been 30 extra yards.
In their defense, though, if we're going into this, on the 2-point conversion for the Eagles, they missed a face mask on the Bucs. So they might have been playing one of the hockey rules where you're kind of evening it out through the game.
Maybe you could say that, but I don't think that face mask happened until after the whistle was blown dead.
It's hard to
Is
say.
all I'm saying. But, yeah, I do think they definitely let him play. It's playoff football. I can appreciate that. Not a lot of penalties called. There was a PI on JTS that I was like, all right, guys, that's a softie.
Hey, all I want to say is that one penalty we got, this is kind of defensive related, but the one penalty we got led to the 4th down stop. And, I don't know, it did kind of look like he did it on purpose. And I don't know if that's actually how it was because my boy jumped off sides like really bad. Like he was there, moved really fast, and I was like,
it was McCollum went off sides twice.
I mean, what
on
if
the field goal.
Todd Bowles was like, hey, go off sides and then force him to go for the 4th down? I was like, I mean, it saved us 3 points. That could have changed the game.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Todd Bowles and his big brains.
they definitely.
You never know.
They definitely. Zach McCollum just was trying to time it and block it.
There was a lot of lousy roughing the passer calls throughout this weekend of football too. I know that's the way football's going, but it's like, come on.
I don't think we had one this week though.
You didn't? Okay,
We did
I can't
this
remember if it was
game.
in our game or not. I watched
think
most of
so.
the games this week, so.
I don't think we did, but yeah,
That's good.
that's pretty much it. Oh wait, I did want to say before we move on, Dave Canales, great game plan, just great job. You look at this game or something I call for Dave Canales, and when he's doing right, this is what happens. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different receivers caught a pass, and there was also 5 different rushers. The wealth was being spread. There was great play calls, great protection, great choice of what type of runs and when to run, when to pass, jet sweeps, screens. The defense was off balance all night. And this is the Dave Canales that we've seen in some games that we want to see every single week. This was a great game plan from Dave Canales.
And that's a great game plan going forward, too. Let's say we lose Mike Evans in the offseason. It doesn't matter because we're spreading the wealth all around, so that piece can be easily replaced. It's like the money ball of football. Spread the wealth.
Yeah, if like you just said, if Mike Evans leaves, I feel like I know Trey Palmer is definitely due for him getting into the second, the wide receiver 2 or even wide receiver 1, and it's that's gonna get him the ball more because just Mike Evans, Chris Godwin just take passes away from him.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought just the selection of what type of runs they're running counters and up the middle around. I thought the screen plays to Edmonds and Devin Tompkins were great. Those jet sweeps they ran to Tompkins and Palmer were great. Baker, there seemed to be always someone open. Even that the David Moore catch, I know David Moore deserves a lot of credit for making that a touchdown. But as for the play that was called and it being conversion on 3rd and 7, it was a great play call. It was a crosser against man-to-man. David Moore was wide open. It was a great play call, and David Moore did more than we could ever imagine with that play. But Dave Canales deserves a lot of credit, just like every single member of his coaching staff. It was a masterclass from them.
Yeah, I think that whole play call, the one on 3rd down, I think that play call was literally to distract, get Godwin and Evans, and then distract them and be like, oh, they're going to throw a deep ball on this 3rd and 7. And then you get David Moore wide open touchdown.
Well, and I do think it was good. They went to Mike early, and Mike Evans did get a couple catches, and then there was obviously that drop that should have been a catch. So I definitely think going to Mike Evans early, and it caused the Eagles to pay a lot more attention to him. And that is when they could kind of go to using him as a decoy or using plays off of Mike Evans. But I think it was a really wise decision to go to Mike Evans early, get him involved early, and kind of make the Eagles have to really pay attention to Mike Evans so you can spread the wealth throughout the rest of the game. So, yeah, that's it for this game. It was just, like we said, just an outstanding performance from the Bucs. From offense to defense to special teams to coaching staff. Just great job.
No turnovers.
No turnovers.
Big deal.
And no turnovers from the offense. No turnovers forced by the defense. But
Baker did almost throw an interception.
He did.
It was
he did. It was a dropped pick. It was
Yeah.
a drop pick. And that would have cost us 3 points. But hey, man, you can't live with the highs and not be a little scared of the lows from Baker. But yeah, so we're gonna get into it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have earned a right to play in the NFC divisional round, and they drew the Detroit Lions, and they are going to be headed into Detroit, into Ford Field on Sunday At 3 p.m. on NBC, the Bucs are going to play at the Lions for the right to go to the NFC Championship. So,
And the best news of all is we're wearing the creamsicle again.
we are not.
I'm lying.
Dude,
That'd be
crazy.
kind of cool though.
People
Retribution.
wanted to see the creamsicle against the green Eagles ones. What are they called?
The
the
Kelly
Kelly
Greens.
The Kelly Greens versus the creamsicles, and I was
That'd
like,
be
I mean,
nice.
that'd be pretty cool,
That'd be
but
nice.
it's too lame.
We're wearing our normal uniforms, and now we're gonna win.
We're wearing white and pewter, if you guys were curious. White and pewter
that's
for
good.
the
That's a good
road.
combo.
I don't mind it. But yeah, what Joel's referencing is when the Bucs and Lions have already played a game this season. It was on, let me get the date for you. It was on Sunday, October 15th. It was Creamsicle Day. The Bucs were wearing those beautiful uniforms. However, it was not a beautiful result as the Detroit Lions beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 20-6.
From where that was and here we are now, first of all, way different team. Bucs are a way different team.
Absolutely.
And I have a couple things that the Bucs, I just want to say that the Bucs got to do if they want to win this game. First of all, they got to hold Amon St. Ra to 80 yards. Less than 80 because he killed us last time. And he kills every team. He's probably had 100-plus yards in
Amon St.
know.
Ra did have 12 receptions for 124 yards and 1 touchdown against the Bucs in week
And the thing is, it's not that he's
7.
killing us on a deep ball.
6.
His longest catch was 27 yards. He just kills us he just outruns us, gets past us, outruns our corners. So we got to hold him to under 80 and every other receiver at least under 50. And that's how we're going to play good. And then also, like, just from this game, like, we had horrible rushing and like we just didn't play well in this game, but we're a complete different team now. So
This game was kind of like we were riding so high in this game. Like we had lost against the
Eagles.
Eagles 2 weeks before, but then we got a win against the
Saints, yeah.
So I feel like we were just kind of like, oh, that Eagles game was nothing. They're the Super Bowl. I think we were at the Super Bowl last year. It doesn't matter. So we were high and mighty in this going into this Lions game, and we got humbled. So again, saying that we're a different team this go around. This game could look different. Like I'm excited to see which Bucs we get on the field going into this weekend.
I agree. Completely different team, completely different situations. All of it's different. Just a note for the Amon-Ra St. Brown thing. Jamel Dean did not play in this game. So that's going to be a huge key for stopping Amon-Ra on this Sunday because he's our best corner. He is, and he'll have a huge part if we're able to stop Amon St. Ra. But yeah, just some notes for this game that kind of stuck out for me is in this game, the Detroit Lions killed us on third down. The Detroit Lions were 9 for 16 on third down, while the Bucs were only 2 for 12. That was where that game was won. I vividly remember huge conversions, back-breaking. The Bucs couldn't sustain a drive, and all the Lions did was stay on the field and sustain their drive. So the Bucs have got to win on third down, and they also a huge key in this game is the rushing attack. The Detroit Lions really lean on the rushing attack. However,
but we stopped them.
Yeah,
I was going to add that.
The Lions only ran for 40 yards, but we only ran for 46. So the rushing game was pretty much a wash in that game.
But looking here now, for the rushing I see here, I don't see Gibbs. So Gibbs either might have been hurt or they
weren't
might have
using
not
him yet.
using him yet.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to face a different running back that we didn't face before.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some key characters on the Lions that didn't play against us the first time around. But then there's also the Bucs, Jamel Dean. And did anyone else not play in this game? Did Carlton Davis play?
Carlton Davis played. I'm looking back. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
There were some people out in this game.
There was. I know Ryan Neal was starting at that point.
Oh, that was his worst
He
game.
gave up a huge play in that game, and so now we've moved back to D. Delaney, so that's a big difference for the Bucs. And yeah, just tackling. That's what I was gonna say. Tackling in this game is a huge key. The Lions live off yards after catch or yards after contact. Jahmyr Gibbs is hard to tackle. Amon-Ra is hard to tackle. Montgomery's hard to tackle. Laporta's hard to tackle. Jameson Williams hard to tackle. The Bucs have got to recreate the tackling performance they had against the Eagles, against the Lions, because if not, they're gonna give up these multiple conversions. It's just not gonna go well for them.
I mean, like, especially tackling Amon St. Raw, he killed us. Amon Ra. We have to play better. Our secondary has to play better because look, we gave up 124 yards to him. Jameson Williams with 50 yards. Josh Reynolds with 50 yards. Laporta, which is just before he kind of broke out there, only had 36 yards. Like they were just killing us.
Yeah.
They had
Jared Goff went for 353.
They had what 10? They had 10. I think 10 people. 10 people with receptions, with different people with receptions. So they were just killing us. But we did a good job on the rushing. So all we have to do is stop them on the third downs. Because we really, if you look at the scoreboard, 26, that doesn't sound like you guys that the Bucs played the worst defense. So I think they really just got killed on third downs with the passing game. So I think that's really where we first need to full on deal with.
Well, another big problem in this game was the Lions possessed the ball for 36 minutes and 30 seconds in this game. The Bucs, even though the score didn't show that the defense had a bad game, the time of possession shows that, and the fact that the Lions were able to stay on the field for so long really took the offense out of the rhythm and made the defense fatigued. And by the fourth quarter, that game was over. So the Bucs got to do a better job of possessing the football.
Yeah, and that's usually the recipe for winning. If you can keep your offense on the field, wear out the defense, keep the game at your pace, you're going to win this game. And that's part of the reason why we won this game against the Eagles. I don't know the time of possession for both sides, but I would imagine the offense had the ball for a longer period in the game. So, yeah, it all goes back to keep the ball in your hands.
Did you say how bad we were on third down?
2 for 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 for 12. Huge key. And so another key for the Bucs is I would like to see them get that rushing game established. They only ran for 46 yards against the Lions last time, and that's just not going to fly. It's not going to fly.
We'll see if Rachaad White builds upon this game.
I think so, and I think he is. Rachaad White, for the last
he's
8
progressed.
weeks, he's been really good.
Way better,
He's been really good. That was still before Aaron Stinney, so the offensive line is completely different since Aaron Stinney has been inserted in there. And Cody Mauch has obviously improved immensely, so our interior is much better. But yeah, the Bucs have got to establish the run game. It just opens it up so much more for Dave Canales, and you can lean on Baker. You feel good about Baker, but you have to give Baker at least an effective run game. I know we ran for 119 against the Eagles. Something around that number would be ideal. But even if you run for 80 or 90 yards, that's an effective run game, and it does the job.
Mm-hmm. Well, adding on to that, if we get the run game going, we won't play as bad as we did in the red zone in our first game against the Lions. We were 0 for 2. 0 for 2 means that we kicked both those field goals and we didn't touch the red zone the rest of the game. So that means we only got to the red zone twice. So that proves how bad our offense was playing this game. And with that rushing, we can get more flowing, more going, and score some touchdowns.
This Lions game, though, this was one of the biggest flukes of the season because there was so much riding on this throwback game that I don't know how much practice we really put into this game. And this is something that I brought up during
it was a distraction
that
for
week.
sure.
This game was kind of an oddity on the schedule. So I don't know if it's even the same team then that it would have been the week before. This was just a weird game for us.
Another key is obviously the Detroit Lions pass defense has looked very susceptible recently. They let Matt Stafford throw for 367 yards. I know a lot of Lions fans, they're riding high. They got their first playoff win in 30 years or something like that. It's been a long time. They're riding high. They're feeling good about their team. I know the Rams are a formidable team. They got hot at the end of the year. But they could have easily lost this game. They really could have, and maybe should have. I know there's some questionable play calling at the end of that game in Detroit. So, the Lions, if they want to win this game, their pass defense has to be better. And a huge key is, I'm looking at this, Puka Nacua had 9 receptions for 181 yards. Mike Evans or Chris Godwin has to have a big day. The stars have got to show up. You're on the road. You know that it's a similar dynamic. They have Puka and they have Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp was held down to 27 yards receiving, but Puka Nacua went off.
Maybe that
one
means...
of the two has got to go off. If you're going by that logic, it's going to be Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
But who knows? but one of the two stars has to show up and be big for the Bucs and give Baker a really reliable target. Because I know this is the saying for basketball, but it's like role players thrive in home games, and stars need to win on the road. So we need our stars on the road to play to the best of their capabilities. You just aren't going to get those same type of crazy splash plays, in my opinion, from the unsung heroes on the road like you're going to get at home.
Yeah, we need the splash plays to kind of silence out this Detroit crowd because, as Colby was saying, this is an excited city. This is a group of people where most of these fans haven't seen their team get a playoff win until last week. And if they get loud quick in this game, like it could get ugly quick. So the Bucs had to say, no, you the Lions, you suck. Remember when you went 0-16 a few years ago? Well, we do, and you suck.
Yeah, we need momentum stoppers. We need big third down stops. We need big 30-yard gains, and we need this game. We need to focus on big John Gruden classic. You need turnovers to win games.
Oh, absolutely. A turnover will take the air out of that stadium. It'll be Pontiac Silverdome style, where the air-filled roof is just going to sink upon the fans.
And, I mean, this is an interesting thing, but Dan Campbell lets his nuts hang. He is a risk taker, and it's paid off a lot for them this week or this year. But this week, I think a key for the Bucs is to make him pay for some of his reckless decisions. I know they go for it a lot on fourth down. They were 1 for 1 last week. They go for it on fourth down, I think, more than any other team. I don't have the stats pulled up, but they go for it more than a lot of teams in the NFL. And they go for it on some reckless situations. Like, I mean, I'm looking back. I know there was a crazy missed call in the Detroit-Dallas game that caused the Lions to win, but they still went for a two-point conversion from the 7-yard line. So that's bonkers. That's bonkers. It's a crazy decision, and Dan Campbell can get a little crazy. So I think a huge key for the Bucs is to get that big fourth down stop. You know, if they try a trick play, stuff it. Make it a huge loss, or make it a turnover. They're gonna take risks. They are the favorite, but they're still gonna take risks because they are Lions. That's what they do. So a huge key for the Bucs is to not let these crazy plays work. You got to, that will take the air out of the building. They go for it on fourth down and they get stopped, the place is going to be silent. I mean, that's what the Bucs have to do.
I feel like the other side, it's like remind the Bucs how much they suck. It's like remind the Lions how much they suck.
Yeah, that's true. That's funny. Yeah, it's like they're like you just had Tom Brady for 3 years. You're just like us. Other than that, it's like no, we had Tom Brady for 3 years and we won a Super Bowl. We have 2 Super Bowls.
How many do you guys have, Detroit?
None. But, yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, Detroit, obviously, deal with the crowd noise. We mentioned it. Deal with the crowd noise.
It's going to be loud.
It's going to be
loud.
Rocking. It's a dome. I think their tickets are crazy expensive,
Oh,
so maybe it'll be...
Will was saying like 1,000, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked. Look, let me
I don't think
look
they're
on the
that high.
ESPN. Let me look on
Maybe lower bowls
Yeah.
1,000 or something like that. But
let me
Yeah,
look.
Will's friend said they were 1,000, but
It was
we'll
like
get the number for
The
it.
tickets as low as $492.
What a steal.
But honestly, that kind of makes me feel good because I feel like all these like corporate, like rich people who aren't real fans are going to buy the tickets and they're not going to be as loud as if like the fans buy it. So maybe it won't be as loud as it could be, or maybe these people are just going to pay their life savings to go watch the Lions play and be as loud as they possibly can.
I mean,
who knows?
At this rate, they're going to be dead by the next time they make it to get a home game.
yeah,
Fair enough. Eminem might be there.
that's a little scary.
Big Sean, all those people, you know how it be. Yeah, just handle the crowd noise. Baker, come out with the same mentality and attitude. Come out to dominate. The Bucs throughout this season have been great on the road. They won in the Superdome. They won in Lambeau Field. They won in Minnesota's. They've won in some really crazy atmospheres with great fan bases, loud crowds, huge games, all that stuff. They have proven over and over. They're warriors. Baker's a warrior, and the whole team takes off that personality. They're going to be road warriors this week. That's what they got to be, and that's what I think they're going to be. So, without further ado, I'm ready to predict. Are you guys? All right. I think we start with the guest, with the newbie, Luke. What is your prediction for this game? Say with your chest in the camera.
I'm thinking about this now. I think it's gonna be 27 to 24, Bucs.
All right. Hang on a second. I gotta grab my soapbox. All right. So this is the Bucs we're talking about here. The Bucs, I feel like, have been a lot like the Gators this year, where one of the guys on here, he'll say the tale of two Gators. Gators don't have two tails. So anytime we get excited about the Bucs, anytime we're ready to ride on that wagon, the Bucs are like, I'm sorry, the wagon's full, man. There's no room on the wagon. You got to get off. And it just scares me. So I don't know. I don't know if the Eagles were really playing this game hard. We saw how weak some of their tackles were. It was like he should have been tackled. The guy should have been tackled. Why wasn't he tackled? And they weren't brought down. They weren't brought down. So did the Eagles give up on their head coach knowing that he was probably going to lose his job anyways? I honestly forgot the Eagles were even in the Super Bowl last year. That's how bad this season has been looking for them toward the end. And the Eagles losing to teams like the Cardinals and the Giants. It's if they lost to the Cardinals and the Giants, then it makes complete sense that the Bucs could win. And I know we've been talking for the last hour about how good the Bucs have been, but I do wonder how much of this was the Eagles just coming into this game asleep, knowing that they're booking tee times sooner than later. So I bring all those things up. I know that's what the media has been doing. I know that's ESPN's job to remind you that the Eagles really sucked in this game, but there is a bit of this that has to remind the audience. The Eagles played horrible in this game. They played ready to lose.
Or did the Bucs dominate?
I mean, that's where you got to decide on the ratio there. There is a ratio. Some of this needs to be handed to the Eagles, not being the team they were to start. This was arguably one of the worst collapses in the history of the NFL. So we have to recognize that. And I say all this to bring up the point again that the Cardinals and the Giants beat this team less than a month ago. So the Bucs did it too. So is this the Bucs that are about to go on a Super Bowl ride? And that's where I shocked the audience, and I say yes, the Bucs are going to be winning this game.
Let's go!
27-20.
Wow!
But that's the weight that I've been carrying for this whole segment. I believe in the Bucs? And I gotta say, I believe in the Bucs.
Man.
But if the Bucs lose to the Lions this week, I'd still give the head coach a hot seat. But I will admit he is coaching this team next year, regardless of what happens against the Lions.
I agree. I think that's the whole. I think Will and me talked about it on the way home. Will agrees, but he's the Todd Bowles lover, so of course he would agree. But I agree. I think Todd Bowles has secured his spot to be the Bucs 2024 head coach. Luke, you agree?
Yeah.
All right. But if this game gets ugly, the same story remains.
You could, but I think he secured it.
Yeah,
playoff win is huge.
A playoff win's big, and this team looked really good on Sunday. So I think you got to ride this out next year.
Man, before I say mine, we do have Will's pick. Will he's been on the Bucs all year, and he's not leaving. He's not jumping off the ship. He's not doing it. He says the Bucs are going to win this game 33-27.
Wow, 33.
Right.
That's a good
and
number.
He's thinking we're getting big offense.
It's good offense, man, both sides, and maybe some defenses that have shown to be bad at some points. But man, am I going to make this a clean sweep? I just gotta think, man.
You don't gotta.
You're on the road. You're headed into Ford Field.
This is a scary game.
This is a battle of great stories. You have the resurgent Lions. They haven't been here in years. This is their first home playoff win, or playoff win in general. I don't even know. In 30 years, they have the new head coach, the gritty head coach.
It was their first playoff home game in 30
home win.
years,
That's
too.
First
playoff home game.
Yeah.
And then the first win.
Yeah.
So they crossed two birds with one stone.
Man. And they're back in that stadium for another game. They have to be feeling like it's magical. They got the head coach. He's just such a leader of men. He's changed their whole culture. They got 2 coordinators that might be gone after this year because people want them. So they're so hot off the presses for head coaching hires. And then they got all these comeback players. They got Jared Goff defying the odds. They got all these players that were with the terrible Lions, and they're coming back, and now they're on a good team. It's a great story there. But then you look at the other side. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got Baker Mayfield, who is on his 3rd team in 2 years. Third team in 2 years. He was cut by – he was playing scout team defensive lineman for the Panthers last year while Sam Darnold and Matt Corral were playing. And then he was on the Rams, got off the plane on the Tuesday, led them to a win on the Thursday. And they didn't want him back. They just let him go. And the Bucs took a chance on him. For a cheap contract, they took a chance on him. And, man, he has exceeded every expectation someone can have.
He's about to get paid for sure.
He's about to get paid.
Yeah.
I hope the Bucs do pay him. I think it will be. And, I'll say this, man. He if we're not talking about life or death here, he should be the comeback player of the year. I know we got a different story, and I'm not going to be mad if he doesn't win it. But, man, what a story from Baker Mayfield. Then you have a coach that no one believed in. Everyone believed he was just a puppet, just a soulless puppet for Tom Brady or for Bruce Arians, someone that had no personality, nothing. And in the last 6 weeks, he has shown that he is more than that. He is an NFL head coach. He makes adjustments. He has passion. He has energy. And he has the ability to change the whole outlook of a team from one part of the season to the other. And he's changed the whole complexion of the Bucs organization over 6 weeks. And he's saved his job. He's gotten himself paid. He's saved maybe his reputation. He's gotten his first playoff win. And then you just look at all these people, and you look at a team that could have been on the transition to tank, could have been on the way to some dark days after they got a old legend and milked them for a Super Bowl ring. But no, they put their foot in the ground, and they said, no, we are going to fight. We are going to be the team we can be, and we are going to win football games. And that's what they did. So when you got both sides of the story, it's just such a compelling game. It's such just an epic stage. I think it's going to be a great game, and I think the game's going to live up to the hype. I think this is going to be punch for punch, blow for blow. I might lose years off my life in this game, I'm predicting. But I think it's all going to be worth it because Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win this game 28-27.
Woo! What, game-winning field goal?
No, Baker Mayfield. They're down 27. They're down 27-21. Game-winning touchdown with like 20 seconds left.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Godwin.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, and it's gonna be legendary. But no matter what,
3:30. What channel?
3:00 NBC Sunday. I know we'll be together. We might have a TB3 watch party. We got to have a TB3 watch party. We're gonna do it. I already know people that are interested, so we'll put the word out.
We're gonna be watching this on Will's couch with his dad. Let's go, Matt. I hope you're ready.
Crazy, but yeah. Tune into the Bucs, support them. If you can somehow get to Detroit and show your Bucs love, do it.
Hey, and if you are a millionaire, and I know there's a couple of you out there listening, there's a Red Wings game around the same time. I didn't see the schedule.
No, it's during the game. The game's at 3 and the Red Wings game's at 5. So it's during the game. They gotta switch that.
Halftime.
There's no way. There's
No
no
one's
way
gonna be at
that.
that
Yeah,
game.
no way.
No
there's gonna
one's
be
gonna be at that
nobody
game.
That's
gonna be
sad.
there.
The only way people go to that game is if they simulcast the game like on the Jumbotron during like,
They
the
very well
Or the
could.
lines are getting blown out.
Yeah.
Let's
But
hope.
yeah, tune into the Bucs. If you can, support them there. If you can't, support them on the TV. Show your colors off. Be the crew. Raise the flags. All that good stuff, man. Just be supportive of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Because if you look at this cycle of Tampa Bay sports, you had the Lightning, you had the Rays, you had the Bucs. Only one team advanced to the playoffs. And who would have thought it would have been the Bucs? Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Lightning out in the first round,
The
Rays out in the wild
The
card.
Rays sacrificed themselves for this.
It was
That's
worth
also
it.
why it was so satisfying because that Rays loss still stings, but it stings a lot less now that the Bucs got a playoff win.
This was also the most important playoff run of all three of those teams. The Bucs needed to say, we're more than just Tom Brady.
True, but also the Raging World Series.
They're never going to
I mean, also like the whole year they put down the Bucs, like acting like they were gonna be the worst in the division.
Some teams have a role in sports to be the losers. Like the Bills, they're the losers.
Also, before we get into this, that's funny. Also,
Shots
before we
fired.
get into this, I think we should talk about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Basically, I just want to make my point here. Basically, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson said a quote along the lines of, they got really good receivers in Tampa Bay. He said Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Russell Gage, who hasn't played on our team all year, by the way, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. So he said, but he's like, if they had a better quarterback, they would be even more elite, is what he said. So he took shots at Baker, How do you guys think Baker's going to respond?
Sling it, gunsling it.
Calm and collected.
Yeah, he already said, he responded. He said Chauncey he's a great player, but he needs to watch more film because Russell Gage hasn't played on our team all year. True. But also, I just want to make my point here. You guys know me. I'm a Florida Gator fan. I love the Gators. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a former Gator. And I've been around a long time, 20 whole years on this earth. And I've seen many of Florida Gators run their mouth. I've seen them run their mouth all the time, say dumb things, say, oh, that team's not that good. Say, oh, you're never going to see a duck pull a truck. Say, wee, I'm throwing a shoe. And then they say all these things. And you know when it's ever led to a win for the team they're on? Never, ever, ever. So I'm happy that I'm going to be on the other side of a Gator trash talking and running his mouth in the media for no reason at all. So that's my warning to you. If you're going to bet on the Lions, just know that a Florida Gator has talked smack, and that usually means that said Florida Gator and his team are going to lose.
A history of talking trash to Baker Mayfield. It's not good for the trash talkers.
He's going to go Oklahoma.
Talk about like the one where he like goes in for the handshake.
He's going to go Oklahoma Baker Mayfield on these guys.
Hey, that's how we need him to play.
He said that. He said on Pat McAfee, he said playing on the Bucs is just playing like with a bunch of guys that want to win and they're focused on winning and each other. And he's like, it's the closest thing I've had since to playing on Oklahoma.
He was
awesome.
good on Oklahoma. We all know that.
We need him to walk on the field with that Oklahoma swagger that he had, because bro did not care what he did on the field.
Just rip the smellies. And we're going to be fine, Baker, all right?
Bro's done some iconic stuff on the field. Too much to say on the pod.
Dude, man, love Baker. He's going to go into Detroit and get a W. However, we're going to talk about some more W's. We're going to give you a quick little lightning recap. I'd be remiss to say that we've been really locked into Lightning hockey. We've been a lot of Bucs. We've all been traveling. A lot of busy stuff, and we've been really locked in on the Bucs. You know, it's been a playoff push, a playoff win. So we don't have a lot to say on the Lightning, but we're still going to cover them. We didn't do it last week. We're going to do it this week, and it was a great week for the Lightning. As last week, they went 3-0, man. They went 3-0, and it started, and they were on a homestand, a 3-game homestand, and it started off against the Los Angeles Kings. And this game did not look good to start, as the Los Angeles Kings scored 2 unanswered goals in the second period to go up 2-0, and I turned it off. I was watching it on my phone, and I was like, man, it's over. I don't need to watch this. And lo and behold, the Tampa Bay Lightning fight back. They're channeling their inner Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They fight back. Tyler Mott gets a goal to cut in the lead in half, and then Brandon Hagel with just a fantastic goal ties the game up with just under 5 minutes left. And, man, in overtime, Brandon Hagel, nice pass. Nick Perbix, great goal. The Lightning win this game 3-2.
This was an awesome game. Like I was watching the game too. I'm the type of guy where it's like, oh, cool, I caught both the LA goals. So I turned the third period off a little too long. I peeked back into it, getting ready to watch it, and I missed both the goals. But I caught the overtime goal, and I was sitting behind Colby, and my seat was pretty tight behind him. And I went up to fist punch in the air, and I accidentally punched his seat.
And it was awesome.
I was like, Joel, why'd you do that?
I was like, Joel, what happened? He was like, the Lightning just won. I was like, are you kidding me? I thought they were dead, man, because I turned that off after the second period. Man.
So I'm not innocent in it. I did not see the Lightning score.
Hey,
this
you
game.
saw the overtime goal, and you were the good luck they needed.
That's right.
However, the Lightning, they just kept chugging on as they were still at home at Amalie Arena facing off against the New Jersey Devils. And this game was a crazy back and forth as the Devils would go up 1-0, but then Luke Glendening would score 2 goals in a row. Yes, you heard that right. Luke Glendening, 2 goals in a row to go up 2-1 in this game. And then Braden Point in the second period would make it 3-1 with his 20th goal of the season. And then the New Jersey Devils would score 2 unanswered goals to finish the game to tie up this game 3-3, and we would head into overtime. And then a week of unsung heroes here in Tampa Bay as Darren Radish found the open space, Cooch hit him on the stick, and he would finish the goal to go up 4-3, and the Lightning would win this game in overtime 4-3 off Darren Radish's stick.
This is one of those games that reminds me a little bit of last year where the Lightning get that bigger lead, and then for whatever reason they just take the foot off the gas and it's like, oh, it's tied. Like I think I was doing something this night where they had the lead and I had to step out of the room for a second. And I come back and I'm like, it's tied? It's tied? Like, what happened? Come on, Lightning. I thought we were past this.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to get it in overtime is awesome. And this is something that the Lightning did this week. It's like, for at the beginning of the season, I feel like the Lightning weren't that great in overtime. But now
Remember,
it's like,
there was a streak.
Yeah. That streak was, yeah, you're right, because that streak was going on forever.
Yeah.
But now, what is this, 3 straight, 4 straight? It's
like that.
It's racking up.
It's racking up.
I want to add, I didn't watch much Lightning, but they scored a shorthanded goal.
Yeah, Luke
And we
Glendening
love
got a
to see
shorty.
it. They did. I
Luke
did see
Glendening
that
got
one.
a shorty.
That's
Shout
what
out.
I like to see.
And then the Lightning would finish their homestand and finish off their week against the Anaheim Ducks in Amalie Arena. And in this game, there was no goals scored in the first period, and then it got crazy as Victor Hedman scored a power play goal, and then Steven Stamkos scored a power play goal. The Anaheim Ducks were able to cut into this league with their own power play goal to make it 2-1, but then Steven Stamkos does what he does. He scored another power play goal. And then the Lightning were 3 for 3 on their power play in this game.
This game was awesome.
It was awesome. And then in the third period, the Lightning would shut the door and not take their foot off the gas pedal, which was good to see as Calvin DeHaan scored a goal to make it 4-1. And then Brandon Hagel starting to heat up, which is nice to see. He got another goal. It's 5-1. That's where we would end this game. The Lightning win 5-1, and they go 3-0 on the week.
In this game versus the Ducks, I appreciated this. They tried everything they could to get Stamkos this hat trick in the third period. It didn't quite work out, but there was a couple shots where he just about had it. Like the puck was almost on his stick, ready to go, but it just didn't work out. But I love when teams are like, we're getting you the hat trick. Like whatever it takes, we're gonna get you that hat trick. Like there are times where I wish like we just gave up a few goals so we got it to like 5-4, 5-3, and then they have to pull the goalie so that he can get it.
Yeah. So in this game. So speak of Steven Stamkos, he hit some accolades. They're kind of niche, but it's all right. Steven Stamkos scored his 204th power play goal, which ties the great one, Wayne Gretzky, for 17th place all-time in power play goals. And then he also scored his 533rd goal overall, which put him in the 35th all-time in goals scored in NHL history. And then he also became the first Tampa Bay Lightning player to have 100 3-point games.
Wow.
So shout out Stamkos, absolute living legend for the Lightning. Also, another accolade that we should shout out is in the LA King game, John Cooper got his 500th goal. So shout out John.
Win.
What?
500th win.
Yeah, you're right. 500th win. Man, I ruined the whole clapping. 500th win for John Cooper. That's my coach. Shout out him. I mean, he hasn't aged a bit, man.
No, he hasn't. Like they put this thing up like 10 years before in like 2014, and it's like, hey, it's the same guy.
The fact that he's been there for 10 years and he still looks so good, man, he's a handsome guy. John Cooper is a handsome guy, and he's got 500 career NHL wins.
I don't know if he's taken or not, but if he's not, ladies, ring his doorbell.
He's got to be taken.
I'm sure he is.
He's got to be. He's got to be.
Definitely is.
I'm just checking in because I want to see, just double checking here, because
John Cooper is married to a lady named Jessie.
oh,
They have a twin daughter and son.
so what I was checking in on.
Twin daughters and a son.
Oh yeah,
So
I've
three kids.
seen his kids, I think, before on social media. Had to have. But what I was checking in on is Nikita Kucherov is now tied for first place in the league for points. Him and Nathan McKinnon both have 72 points to lead the NHL. That's 11 more points than the next closest person. So we're in for a race here for the Hart Trophy. Come on, Cooch. Let's keep it rolling. He had a 3.9, I think, in this game. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get that points lead for you. All right.
I think that Ovechkin's kind of get down this year. I don't know that to be sure, but like he might actually have a good shot at this.
It's McKinnon.
McKinnon's the guy he'd be going up against.
McKinnon's the guy he's tied with right now. And then Pasternak is 11 behind, and Panarin is 12 behind. But it's him and McKinnon. That's the race right
We
there.
deserve it so much. I feel like in my time of watching the Lightning, we've never had that reward. It's
Yeah,
like,
Cooch
just
is
give it to us.
Cooch is really putting on like one of the greatest single seasons in Lightning history right now. If he keeps it up, like I'll be interested to see like where this regular season like lines up in like Lightning history.
It'll be of the best. It's crazy. Like they were just like, "Hey, Cooch, can you be more of a scorer this year?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And he's doing it.
He really
It's like
is.
it's one thing to say it, but he's doing it.
Yeah, he's incredible, man. He's incredible. Yeah, I was gonna, like I said, we don't really have much, guys, but I was gonna
I
do.
feel like we're talking a little bit more than the usual.
I was
It's
gonna
like,
say,
sorry, Lightning fans out there, we're trying.
we're trying. It's just the dog days. I was gonna say standings check. The Lightning are 8th in their conference, floating right on the bubble. They are 1 point ahead of the Penguins and 1 point ahead of the Capitals. And
How
also
many
the
games at
Islanders.
hand do other teams have? I think that was a concern I've heard around the league lately.
Yeah,
Yeah, because the Penguins have 2 games in hand on us.
Oh, you're
So
right.
Penguins have 2 and Capitals have 2. So that could get tighter in the next couple weeks.
It could. Well,
But
it's
the
already
Lightning
tight.
are having a good run right here. So
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
just keep it up. Like we know the Lightning, this is the seesaw season.
Yeah, let's stop seesaw. Let's get on the high part of the seesaw for like 5 games though, not just 2 or 3. All right. And then they're only 1 point behind Toronto, 2 points behind the Red Wings, who we play this week. Like we said, on the same day we play the Lions, so that'll be a big game for playoff implications. 4 behind the Hurricanes, so it's all jumbled up in the Eastern Conference. So don't go in panic mode yet, Lightning. Or Lightning fans, just keep watching the boys win, keep supporting them. It's a whole mess in there, and the Lightning are in a jumble, and they just got to keep winning games to get out of that jumble. So I mean, other than that, like we said, Shorty in the Devils game.
Vasilevsky looked pretty good this week. Like nothing out of the ordinary there. He's playing a little bit more than I like him to. Like it seems like he's taking probably 75% of the games.
Well, we need him, man. We need him.
I would have hoped for like 66%, like 2 out of every 3 games. Yeah, 2 out of every 3 games is what I was hoping he'd be on. So let's hope he's ready to go for the playoffs, well rested, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just like Perbix and Radish scoring overtime winners is crazy. I think I saw Darren Radish has 6 goals in his career, and 3 of them are game-winning goals. So like this guy is like he only scores when it's clutch time, apparently.
Yeah, this has been a good little stretch for the Lightning too, because Brendan Hagel's off to the snide or whatever you call it. He like I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think he had 3 goals in the span of like 4 games or something, and like an assist was sprinkled in there too. So he's hot.
He assisted the game-winning goal against the Kings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Cirelli and Hagel have never been hot at the same time.
That's true.
Like I wish they could both get on the same page and get hot at the same time. That would make the Lightning.
I mean, that's true
really
with all
good team.
sports, though. It's like
Yeah.
not everybody in baseball can be hot at the same time. Same with hockey.
That's true, but it's like I wish like those 2 guys seem to be like opposites when it
Yeah.
comes to that, and they seem like they're very similar players in my opinion. So I guess we can look ahead to these games the Lightning have. It's Wednesday night, and the Lightning still haven't played a game this week.
This is a long break for them.
but then they play 3 games in 4 nights.
That's the annoying thing. Like I was finally in the rhythm. Like I was catching those Lightning games, and then they're
Yeah.
like, "And your reward is we're off for the next week."
Yeah, this is a weird schedule. Like they played on Saturday, and they're not playing until Thursday, and then they get 3 road games in 4 nights. So you got to feel like that's a tough stretch. But the first game, they play the Minnesota Wild at home. Sorry, 1 home game. They play at Amalie Arena on Thursday. The Wild at home. I think if I am not mistaken, does it tell me? Come on, tell me. Oh, the Lightning last time they played the Wild was on January 4th, and the Lightning beat the Wild 4-1. So that was in Minnesota. I'd like to see them get the same type of home win. Luke, can you name 1 player on the Minnesota Wild?
Can I?
Can you do it?
No.
All right, this is going to be our fun game. Joel?
Yeah, I mean, to beat myself up right now, there's a lot of teams I couldn't name a player on. Hockey has never been the game that I could just like name players off for you.
Marc-Andre Fleury's on the Wild.
right.
Also Kaprizov. I know those 2.
Capri
The
Sun?
hard thing is they're all so hard to remember.
You say
It's like
Capri Sun?
it's like
Yeah,
oh
Kaprizov.
yeah, I remember
Like
that guy's
Kaprizov.
name off the top of my head. It's
Hey.
Flango Diabe.
I've been waiting to say this, Joel.
Yes.
We got good news.
What's the good news?
The Red Wings game, it's not at 5.
Oh, they moved
It's
it.
at 7.
Dude,
They
so
moved
watching
it.
they moved
All right,
it.
that's for you
But
millionaires
let
out
me
there.
get my predictions now. I have a great prediction.
We don't even know the second one, but you got it. Give me a second.
Dang,
look,
I want to pull out my life savings and
Dude,
go to
that
that.
would be a crazy trip.
My prediction now
I'd be too
is
scared of the football
we're gonna go
game.
2-1. We're gonna go 2-1. We're gonna win both against the Wild and the Sabres,
Uh-huh.
and we're gonna lose the Red Wings because the Lightning are gonna sacrifice
Yeah?
the loss for the Bucs.
Okay.
And then the Red Wings are gonna be so mad that the Lions lost in their
I'll
game.
be so busy
So
listening to post
they're
games
gonna
on
get
that
their
day that I'll
revenge.
probably forget the Lightning are playing.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, I'll just be either in a too much of a high to worry about the Lightning, or I'll be depressed.
If I'm depressed, I'm going to the Lightning. I'm like,
Nah,
all right, Lightning,
fair.
I need some redemption.
Fair. But yeah, that game did get moved to 7 p.m. Breaking news here. I don't know when it happened, but it was 5 p.m. I looked at it and it was 5 p.m. earlier this week. So good job, Detroit Red Wings, for moving your game. And also, the Lightning head into Buffalo to play it at the Sabres the day before this. They play at 12:30, just past noon on a Saturday afternoon against the Sabres. That's odd, but all right. That game's at 12:30 on Bally. The Wild game is on Hulu, so I don't know if you can watch this on Bally. That's brutal. And then the Red Wings game is also on Bally. So you guys got 3 games: Wild at Lightning, 7 p.m. on Thursday; Lightning at Sabres, 12:30 p.m. on Saturday; Lightning at Red Wings, 7 p.m. on Sunday. Luke says the Lightning are going to go 2-1. Joel, what's your record?
I'm going to go 2-1, and I'm going to go Taylor. Is it Taylor Mott? Is that how you say
Tyler.
it? Tyler Mott? I should have known that. I just saw it.
Tyler's like the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, his
Yeah.
is clearly spelled Tyler, though.
No, but I mean, like, they're just,
Yeah.
they jumble.
Yeah.
Names. So Tyler Mott Gold, 2-1 Lightning. Luke said 2-1.
And
I'm
then-
gonna
It feels like a 2-1 week. Like it's it's
Yeah.
an easy schedule, but it's like, yeah, we're gonna drop one of them.
I'm gonna say 2-1 too. I think so. They're gonna beat the Wild, and they're gonna split that road trip. It's hard to win a back-to-back. Both games are back-to-back, and we know we're gonna get Johansson. And I'll say, who am I saying? Who do I think is gonna score a goal? Give me Hagel. He's hot. Brandon Hagel for a goal.
I thought about going him, but every time I go with him, he's like, goal. I
Yeah.
thought you said no.
Fair. Luke, who do you think's scoring a goal?
Tried and true. Give me Stamkos. He's hot.
He is.
So
Tyler Mott,
take
Steven
him.
Stamkos, Brandon Hagel are your goal scorers. If you want to make some money, probably don't bet on those guys. But maybe do. Sometimes we're right. And then
What's old Williams?
Will from the Matrimony says that
Holy matrimony.
that the Lightning are going to go 3-0. He's believing in the
All
Lightning.
right, I
They're
was
gonna-
hoping somebody.
They're going to
could
go 3-0, and he says Kucherov is going to score a goal. So, really daring picks from everyone except Joel, the opposite. Obviously,
It's because I'm cashing and I'm saving Brandon Point for next week.
fair enough. Brayden Point, for me, is the guy who's like, nope, I'm not scoring a goal when you pick me. Not
I
gonna
don't think
happen.
I've gotten a goal in such a long time. Like I picked a big bopper last weekend. I don't think I got it.
I had a couple like niche ones, and I feel good about it throughout the season. But yeah, that's your Lightning talk, and we'll talk more, man. But we're just locked in the Bucs right now. But yes, tune in the Lightning on Bally Sports and Hulu this week for 3 games. When you can get them in, watch the Lightning. And yeah, thank you guys.
Wait, before we close this out.
Wait.
I need to leave on this remark. This Bucs game this week, I feel it's like the saying, a moment on the lips, forever on the hips. If this gets ugly next year, you can pin it to this because we had to hold on to the coach. It's the right decision, but if next year is an ugly year, it's because we got a playoff win. So
Well,
a moment on the lips, forever on the hips.
We'll just fire him after next year then.
I think he's building a good defense, but
I think
that's
so too.
if I had to put like a title on this, it's a moment on the lips, maybe forever on the hips.
Well, and also I feel so good about Dave Canales with the way he's been coaching that he can build a good offense. I think they complement each other good. I do think Byron Leftwich was holding Todd Bowles back last year. Byron Leftwich not good. He was riding Bruce's
We
coattails.
just gotta hope that next year all our players kind of keep playing at the same level that they do, because Mike Evans, if we don't re-sign him, we're gonna lose him, or if we re-sign him, he's still getting up there.
If we lose Mike Evans, like I'm excited to see what wide receiver we draft. Like we could get someone fun in the
Baker,
draft.
even though Baker Mayfield's playing so good, like you never know, he could come in and not play as good or whatever happens. Because, I mean, you've seen it do before. You've seen it happen before where he's came in and not played as good. Like his first year in Cleveland, he played great. Or in maybe his second year, he played good too. But then he kind of slowly progressed a little, digressed, not progressed. Digressed.
So it could be a moment on the lips, forever on the hips in a good way too.
Yep.
That depends on how you want to look at it.
A moment on the lips, forever on the hips is what Joel says this game could be. Or it could be a moment and then another moment in the NFC Championship and then another moment in the Super Bowl. You just never know. You never know.
Who do we want to see, the 49ers or the Packers?
Thank you. This was another thing I want to say.
Go Packers.
The revenge tour. We beat the
Yeah.
Eagles. We beat the Lions. We beat the 49ers.
And we beat the Bills in the Super
And
Bowl.
we're beating the Bills in the Super
Yeah.
Bowl. The revenge tour.
I've thought about that. It's
Get the
awesome.
copyright for the movie now.
I bet just like, man, the 49ers, I don't want to play them at
Dude.
all.
I mean, for the sake of the revenge tour, I want to play them.
Yeah. But
Well, I mean, the Packers would be on their revenge tour if
We beat 'em,
if we
though.
played them. I know. I'm saying they
They're
would
gonna
be
be
on.
on it, yeah.
They would be if they beat us.
yeah, just a lot to ponder, and we're ready for some Bucs football. Go Bucs! Don't forget, Sunday, NBC, 3 p.m. Watch your Bucs in the playoffs. Root for the Buccaneers. If you guys have made it this far in the video, thank you guys for watching. Like we said, follow on Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, follow on Twitter/X, and good night, guys. Joel's got your outro music.
Aye, aye, Captain! I can't